If you're here, that means you're ready to show up differently than you did before. So let's debunk the myth that building a visible brand is only about likes, followers, and a lot of views. Really, building a visible brand is about being recognizable, being that person, that brand, that business that leaves an impression in the minds and the hearts of those who engage with you on social media or even in person. And one of the things I like to say is, what do you want to be known for when you build a visible brand? A lot of people who follow me here on YouTube know me for being the Canva girl from Jamaica, the Canva girl. Even in my personal life, a lot of people know me for the Canva girl, and brand Carey Digital is heavily associated with Canva. But then there are also other facets to me. So when I talk about building a visible brand, you have to be very intentional about what you want people to know you for, and can they trust you as relates to what you're building your brand around. When people think about or mention your name, what is the feeling or the thought that comes to them naturally? What do you want them to remember about you? What is that one problem you solve or the transformation that you bring? That is the type of visible brand that you want to build, not about the vanity metrics of the likes and the followers and the views. In this series, from hiding to showing up boldly, I have talked about fears and hiding and tackling the fears and rewriting and reframing your story to showing up with courage and knowing why. And knowing why is an important part of building a visible brand. If you're not clear on why you want to build a visible brand, then you can start showing up inconsistently without you even realizing. Here's how consistency helps your brand's visibility, and these are three ways. One, it's your action. So how frequently are you showing up? Are you going to show up once a week, once a month? And then we're going to talk about where you show up. Where are you showing up? Which platforms are you on? One platform or multiple platforms? When they hear your name, your brand name, your business name, they should be able to say, yes, she's on social media. Yes, she's on Instagram and she has this username or this handle. Those are the things that we talk about. We talk about building a visible brand, not just about the likes and the followers and the views, because oftentimes we get so tied up in that or caught up in that that we miss the fact that people need to remember you very clearly in terms of where you show up, how frequently you show up, and how you show up. When you show up, does your message, your value, and your presence create a recognition in the minds of those who see you and hear you? When persons hear Carey Digital, they will tell you that I know Canva really well and I talk about it a lot. But there are other facets to me that you might also hear. You might also hear that I've gotten very confident about being on camera and I've built my online presence even as an introverted entrepreneur. Those are some things when I think about how people would say or what they would say about how they feel about my brand. They will say they feel inspired, encouraged, motivated to take action, right? So those are the things that you need to be mindful of in terms of building a visible brand. And so consistency is a big part of building a visible brand, and it's not only about the frequency, but you're really looking at, hey, when I show up, how am I showing up? When I show up, where am I showing up, and how frequently? I've been getting a lot of comments like, yo, Carey, you have been so consistent. And I'm like, yo, I've just been doing the thing that sometimes I don't even realize. So I have been very intentional about being consistent. And what I've done is just to identify what I want to do and how I want to position myself and how I want to provide value for my audience. So thank you for recognizing that I'm being consistent. Behind the scenes, it can get a little messy sometimes, but I'm just really trying to be very intentional, and I realize being consistent helps me to identify what is working and what isn't. So this is also like a test for myself, like, yo, let's be more consistent, see what is working, see what isn't, and make the tweaks as necessary. Again, I'm just a girl who is trying out loud. That's all it is. All right. But let's talk about this bigger thing because, sometimes when you're building a brand, sometimes people think, yeah, man, it's only about the likes and me being likable and how you have to be popular. You don't have to be popular to build a visible brand. I am not a popular person, not even by a far stretch. But I have built a brand just based on what I know really well and know the fact that I am sharing my journey more. I am building my brand on that to help women entrepreneurs to build their own brand. And a big part of building your brand is that people need to trust you. Are you credible? Are you credible? Can people trust you? You don't have to like me, but can you trust me? Am I credible? Is what I'm talking about matching up with what really is happening, right? When I'm sharing or teaching you something in Canva, is it the truth? Is it facts? Or am I full of fluff? So those are things. So building trust with your audience is important. Trust is looks like credibility, looks like you being authentic, it looks like you being yourself. I've touched on a video in this series talking about perfectionism and how that can literally cripple you if you are struggling with perfectionism and you feel like you need to show up very polished all the time, not being your natural self. That is doing you a disservice. So you need to just wrap that up. Yeah, it might not happen overnight, but you need to wrap up the perfectionism thing because that isn't what builds up a visible brand. It is people being able to trust you, you coming off authentic, you being authentic, not just coming off authentic, but you being authentic, and of course reliable. And the reliability really have to do with the fact that how frequently you show up. Do you have a system around how you show up in terms of having a visible brand? And there's just so much that goes into building a visible brand. So if you subscribe to this channel, you will get more content around how to build a visible brand. Right, in this series, we're focusing a lot on the clarity part in terms of how you move from a place of hiding to showing up. And of course, this part as it relates to clarity is about how to build a visible brand and what you want people to recognize you for. So here are some ways to build trust with your audience. Share stories. Throughout this series, I've been sharing my stories of moving from a place of hiding to transforming to someone who is showing up more boldly. And then, of course, this is including successes and struggles. So you're not going to just tell people about all the struggles, but not how you're making a turning point or how you're making a shift. But of course, tell them about some success. And of course, you're not going to tell people all the great things that have been happening because I am sure that you might have encountered this video of me looking and being very confident on camera, but maybe you didn't see me not 20 years ago. But maybe you didn't see me 5 years ago when I was nervous and with sweaty palms and just constantly retaking and create and doing videos. Hey guys, welcome to Carey-Lee Digital. Jesus, Jesus. No, this is serious. Hey guys, welcome back to this week's channel. I'm making so many mistakes and fumbling over my words and quitting because I was like, no man, I don't think I can do this, right? Those are the things you want to do. Share your story. That helps to build trust. And then of course, deliver value. Now, if you watch my videos on YouTube here, I share a lot of value, whether through its tutorials, tips, sharing transformation stories, strategies. Those are the things that your audience are looking for. It's not just about you just creating a video and making things look perfect, but you really guiding your audience through something that can help to transform their lives. And then of course, engage from a genuine place. I think one of the things that is just so saturated in the social media space is that some people are very strategic, so they know how to engage, but they're not engaging from a genuine place. And I always say people will eventually know if you're faking it. And if you're faking it, listen, you need to stop. If you're faking it, you need to wrap it up right now. But I know you're here and that's not what you're about, so I don't have to worry about that. But I just want to tell you that engaging from a genuine place is the best thing you can do for yourself ever and for your audience, because I'm telling you, people are very smart about social media, and if you're faking it, they're going to pick up. All right, so I'm just putting that out there. And then follow through on what you say you'll do. No, I have made mistake in this area where I said, hey, I'm going to do this thing, and I don't. And that's not because I didn't want to. That's because life happened, or I'm doing things alone and it was just really challenging. So of course I needed to just manage, like, expectations versus reality. So this is a very important part about following through on what you say you do. So if you're going to say you're going to do a series or drop something within a certain time, do it. You might be surprised to know that that one person is waiting for you, right? You might not have a lot of views on your video right now, or you might not have a lot of followers. And this is just something that just came to me. Do not look at numbers as just data, look at them as people. So you might have only 10 views on a video, or 5 views, or 23 views, like I have had and sometimes have on my channel now. And I don't know if it is 23 people who watched it. I don't know if it's 5 people who watched it multiple times for it to reach 23 views. Whatever it is that those real people are watching your videos. And if you said you're going to do something, then do it. If you say you're going to follow through, just follow through, right? Those are important things that helps to build a trust in just building your online presence and building a visible brand. And one of the things I noticed, and I know for sure, is that people buy into honesty and consistency. So when you're honest, people like that. When you're consistent, people love that. Be consistent as best as you can. Building a visible brand isn't an overnight thing, right? It took 5 years for me to get 1,000 followers, but that didn't mean I wasn't visible. What happened when I started out, probably like the first 2 years, 3 years, I don't even think people really noticed me like that, but people were watching. And then because people were watching, they would refer me in rooms that I've never entered. They'd mention my name. I remember once I got a call from someone who wanted a training, and how could they have called me that they wanted a training if I wasn't visible? I remember also most recently someone called me like, hey, I want to hire you for a training. How did this person reach out to hire me for a training? First of all, they mentioned that someone referred me or commented or mentioned my name. And that's because I've built a visible brand that was recognizable, not from the standpoint of me having thousands of views or thousands of followers, but because I have built a brand around what I want people to remember me for and how I want them to feel. So when they mention my name, they know that, oh, of course, Carey would be great for this Canva training session or series. Of course, I know Carey would deliver because she's trustworthy, she's reliable, she know her thing. So those are the things you have to think about when you're building a visible brand. And I most recently, again, someone reached out to me to just collaborate for a training series. Again, it was because I built a recognizable brand, a visible brand that was recognizable for a particular thing. So those are things that you have to just bear in mind when you are building a visible brand. And I'm going to give you a quick action activity that will help you with building a visible brand in terms of what you want people to remember you for and what you want to be known for. So this is a visibility plan. And the first thing you want to think about is, what are 3 words you want to be known for? So this is a running joke with my friends. I always say to them, one thing I'm going to always say is that you need to be intentional. And if you are new here, then you might not be so familiar, but you have probably heard me use the word intentional in this video. If you watch many of my other videos before, one of my favorite words is intentional. I use that word so often. So of course, think about the 3 words you want to be known for, and then of course the other thing is, what's the main platform you want to be showing up on? People should know where they can easily find you. Your audience should be wondering, is she on LinkedIn? Is she on YouTube? Is she on wherever? They should hear your name, or you should say your name, and they're like, oh yeah, she's on YouTube, oh yeah, she's on Instagram, and they even know your username. If they don't know the full thing, they should know like a good portion of that username. Those things really help you with building a good, strong, visible brand. And then of course, how can you build trust? How can you build trust as a brand? Are you going to share behind the scenes stories? Are you going to be answering frequently asked questions? Are you going to provide value? How can people trust you? Listen, this is one of the things that you can do to build a visible brand. If you have watched this video and it's resonated with you in terms of building a visible brand beyond the likes, beyond the follows, beyond the views, then I want you to give this video a like and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. I want you to go back and binge watch all the videos that is a part of this series. I'm telling you, there is a nugget for you here. And if there's anything in this video that you feel like, listen man, a friend needs to hear this or a friend needs to see this, share it with them.